So as a trader, once we sit down on the computer, once we get over all the day in the life, morning rituals, meditation, cold shower, all that BS, once we get that out of the way, what we really do is we start to build a watch list. We start to look at levels on the charts. We start to look at where could we potentially trade off of today? What are the key levels that I'm watching on the overall futures, on individual stocks? So in today's video, I really want to break down two stocks, Tesla and NVIDIA, show you how I found my intraday levels today to trade off of, right? I had a morning watch list, which I provide every morning to the group. I'll share that morning watch list with you guys here in today's video. And we were talking about some really key levels that I was looking to potentially long off of. These were some intraday levels, some short-term levels that I was spotting. In today's video, I want to break down how I spot those levels intraday, hopefully helping you guys create a watch list every single morning to hopefully help your trading. If you guys enjoyed today's video, press that like button, subscribe. Let's jump right into it. So here we are on the 30-minute chart on NVIDIA, and I love my 30-minute chart. 30-minute, 1-hour chart, those are my favorite two time frames to analyze in the short term, right? They're not too big to where these levels could not be significant in the extreme short term, and they're not too small to where the key levels I'm talking about or looking at are not going to have a significance either. I think that 30-minute, 1 hour is about a sweet spot when we're really referring to short-term trading, right? In this video, we're really talking about short-term trading and finding key levels to scalp or day trade options or even shares off of, right? So here's NVIDIA. And what I like to do is I like to get at least about 10 to 20 days of time, right? At least 2 weeks at the minimum. And I will look back and try to find where has the stock reacted off previously and what are we doing near that level now. As of today, are we reacting off a level that has reacted over the past 2 weeks? And if I don't see anything over the past 2 weeks, I'll keep going back, and there will almost always be a significance of where the market is moving off of if you continue to move back. Now here is NVIDIA, right? And we have been focusing on this 452 level. That is that top green level that you have on your screen. Now, why did I find this level, right? Let's clean this chart up and let's look at this chart and say why 452, right? Why was this the level that we were looking at today on NVIDIA? Well, we can go back, right? If we look to the left, we can see that around here, Monday and Tuesday of last week, we saw some very clear rejections at this level, right? We can clearly see NVIDIA could not break above around this 452. So let's go ahead and let's put a level there, right? Let's put a line there. Let's put a line at where NVIDIA last week could not get above the high of last week, and let's keep an eye on that moving forward. So if we go ahead and draw our zone out, right, this is going to be our zone, right? We want to make sure we know that. At the time before today, right, this zone was red, right? Why is this zone red for me? Well, previously, if we ignore this today price action and we ignore some of this week's price action, this is red because this was a supply level. This was a rejection point. So in the future, I am going to look to see if 452 will reject, or I will look to see if at any point 452 becomes support, I will look to potentially long off that level, right? And so what we can see is that over the last 2 days, Monday and today, yesterday, we got over that 452. Now, this is what sparked my interest, right? So I know I had a previous level here at that 452, and I know that we got above it and we're holding above it. So this morning, if I go down to the 5-minute chart and we just look at the pre-market action, right? Let's look at that pre-market action and just ignore what happened today, right? This morning, this is what we looked like. We looked like we pushed above 452 yesterday on Monday, and this morning in the pre-market, look at how 452 was reacting as support. So this, coming into the trading day, is going to be a key level that I watch. I'm going to look to see if NVIDIA does hold 452, could I long it off that level, right? And this is how I'm finding my intraday levels. If I zoom back out and I look over the last few days, right, let's get a little bit more time here. You guys can see there has been reactions at this 452 multiple times, right? Let's go over to this time period. This is back to where there were rejections. This is back on Monday and Tuesday of the previous week. We had a very clear rejection at 452, and we see another very clear rejection at 452. So I'm just going back, right, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm looking at that hourly chart, and I'm keeping an eye on that key level as we go across the price action. And we can see today that 452, which was that previous rejection point. Let me go ahead and zoom back out. That previous rejection point on NVIDIA at 452 ended up turning into a very clean support. Now, of course, I will always watch the pre-market levels, right? The previous day highs, the previous day lows as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the 5-minute chart once again. And let's map out previous day highs, previous day lows, and of course, let's map out that pre-market level. So we can see here, previous day high in NVIDIA was around that 456. Previous day low was around that 444. Now, of course, we didn't get anywhere near that previous day low, so that was insignificant, right? We pushed higher towards that previous day high, and so today, as I was scalping NVIDIA to the upside, this was my target, right? This was my target on longs into that 456 because I know, right, if NVIDIA pushes into the previous day high, which is right here, there could be some potential rejections. So I'm building that watch list, understanding where's previous day high, where's previous day low, and where is pre-market low. Where's the previous after hours lows, and where's the pre-market low? And it just so happens, right, that NVIDIA set up very nicely today because that after hours low was both a after hours low, a pre-market low, but it was also that 452 level that dates back, right? So that gives me confidence because I know, hey, that 452 level is holding in the after hours, it's holding in the pre-market, and it's also that previous high that we were monitoring on NVIDIA. This could be a break and hold above that previous rejection point and could turn into a very nice long opportunity. And you guys can see that is pretty much exactly what happened, right? So that 452 level, you can see that we held it in the after hours, held it this morning, and had a very nice rally to the upside on NVIDIA. Simply a break and retest, right? If we go to the hourly chart, when it all boils down, this is simply a break and retest of a previous major pivot high. So those pivot levels, right? Going back 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the hourly chart, finding where the market has pivoted, right? This is a pivot in the market, that 452 level, and watching it moving forward today, turning into a very nice support. Now, I have this analysis recorded live that I want to share with you now. I'm going to include it in the video here. This is the watch list that I provide every single morning to the group, and you'll see what I was talking about 452 on NVIDIA and how important it was and how we were looking to potentially long off this level. NVIDIA, big watch here around this 452. This is a very interesting hold. If we hold this level, I will look long on NVIDIA today. We have that previous channel high at 452. I am definitely looking to long off 452 today if I see a hold near this level, targeting yesterday's highs. Now, on top of that, I also have the live trade for you guys. I'm going to share the live trade in today's video. There was some pretty decent drawdown on this trade. Now, the reason I stayed in the trade, I didn't exit the trade, is because NVIDIA continued to show strength at my demand level. I was down at one point about $3,500 on this trade. Now, of course, you need to take everything in context. My account's at about 100,000, so it's about a 3.5% loss, which is comfortable for me if I was incorrect on this trade. So I was in some early entries, right? Early morning, I got in a little bit early after seeing some demand holds here on the 2-minute chart. And after entering, we did get a little bit of a flush candle here right back into my demand, right? So this flush candle could scare some people out of a trade. Now, the reason I did not exit this trade is because, which you'll hear on the live trade talking to the group, I was okay taking a little bit of an early entry just in case NVIDIA did not pull back and just rally to the upside off my 452 demand, right? I didn't want to not enter this trade because I was scared of this drawdown, right? So let's think about that. If I'm entering here, right, pretty early with a stop under my demand level, I don't want to miss this trade right there. I don't want to miss that long because I'm scared of a few points of drawdown, right? I need to accept that if I take an early entry, I need to accept a little bit of drawdown if we move into that demand level. And that's exactly what we did. So I was in some drawdown. I stayed strong in the position. I was adding to it as NVIDIA continued to show me strength here, right? NVIDIA continued to show us strength here as we maintained throughout the day, eventually creating that nice upside, which we went ahead and profited off of. So this trade was a profitable trade. It was a good trade. I probably got too aggressive too early, which is always something that you can work on in trading, but I'm happy that I stuck to my plan, I stuck to my technical level, and I stayed in the position as long as my retest level stayed valid, which it never was in question, right? That was never in question. The only reason I would have lost on this trade is if I got out of the position early because I was scared and I was losing too much money for my account, right? That was never the case. So that just goes back to emotional losses, taking losses before a trade plan really invalidates. This trade plan never invalidated, so I had to stay in it. The drawdown was because of myself, right? The drawdown was because of the decisions that I made, but that doesn't mean that the trade is invalidated. Those are two very different things, right? The drawdown is self-inflicted. Trade idea, still valid. So I have to stay in that position until it's invalidated, and you can see eventually the trade stayed valid and continued to be very valid throughout the entire day. A very nice squeeze off 452. Here's the live trade. After this, we're going to get into the next trade on Tesla. I'm going to watch how NVIDIA sort of holds up around here. I am definitely interested, even if I have to take a loss, right, if it does flush under. All right, I think I'm going to try a little bit of NVIDIA here. Just stop under 452. I'm going to take the 455 calls. Stop under 452. I'm just going to accept my loss. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to accept my loss, right? If that thing just flips back under, if I'm way too early, I'm just going to accept that I'm going to take a loss here. I think I might add to it soon if I see another wick come in. Tesla, big push. Okay. All right, I'm going to add into NVIDIA again a little bit. Just another 5 contracts to see if that thing can get bounced back over 452. Come on, NVIDIA. Nice little 452. Nice little fake out. Panic selling going on that candle. I don't panic sell. Let's see if this thing can rip back up. Yeah, NVIDIA's still there, man. Just gotta give it some time. Gotta give it some time. Can't get too crazy here. Just gotta give it a little bit of time. Okay. Scaling out of NVIDIA. Half off. Taking more off. That's it. So guys, here is Tesla. Here's our 30-minute chart, and here is where the analysis starts again, right? Starting on that 30-minute chart, looking at levels from the past, where are the lows, where are the highs, are we in a channel, right? Marking out our channel levels, understanding where our supply and demand is. We can see right here, we had those previous highs on Tesla around that 250, 252 level. Now, moving forward, we got that break above, and we turned this into supply. So over the last few days, right, I've been able to identify where my previous highs were right here and where the current highs are here, right? Let's take, for example, the chart looked like this, right? Let's take a look at the chart like this, and let's look at just that area. So we can identify our highs and our previous highs that we broke above. So if we keep zooming over, we can see there was a reaction here on Friday of last week, right there around that 252, which is also these previous general highs. So we can see moving forward, we have that 252 low, we have it at previous highs, the previous highs here turning into support on Friday. So that means coming into Monday, if it was Friday, right, as we approach Monday's trading day, which is right here, we want to be watching that previous day low, right? We're always going to be watching previous day low, regardless of where it is. Now, it just so happens that this time around, the previous day low, which is when it was on Friday, also lined up with those previous highs. So there's a reason why Tesla held that previous low, right? There's a reason why the low of day on Friday was 252. It was that 50 SMA, and it was also the previous highs from the previous week. So coming into yesterday, Monday, we saw Tesla move lower, and hey, look what happened. Once again, it holds the previous day low, which was also those previous highs. After seeing that 252 hold, and after seeing the NASDAQ break higher yesterday, we entered swing trades in the Discord for Tesla call options. I'll pop it up on the screen. You guys can see where we entered this. You'll also see this trade live later in the video. We were entering calls here on Tesla. Now, why am I taking a position here on Tesla? Using the levels that I've set up for my day, right? Using that watch list and understanding where my levels are. Well, I know, right? If I take a long here on Tesla around this 252 area, I can use that as my stop loss, right? I know if I enter Tesla calls, that trade idea is invalidated if we break the previous day lows, which held very strong, if we break that 50 SMA, and if we break the previous week highs, right? So I had a lot of reasons to believe that there was a floor on Tesla at that level. So why not take that risk-reward trade and look to see if Tesla could maintain the previous day lows, maintain those previous highs, and maintain that 50 SMA. That's just using supply and demand levels to enter positions. We had a very nice squeeze end of day on Tesla. I maintained that position into today, and this is where it gets pretty interesting, right? Why did Tesla squeeze so aggressively this morning? And this is where you're going to see our morning watch list really come into play. So if we zoom in here on the 5-minute chart, right? There's a reason why Tesla squeezed right off the open today. And we can look back, right? First of all, this blue line on your screen that's running across your screen, that's the 20 SMA on the daily chart. You guys know I love my daily 20. And you can see how beautifully it held right at open today. Now, it wasn't just the daily 20, right? This was also some previous lows, generally around this Thursday low. This was also some Friday pre-market highs. And this was also the pre-market highs from yesterday, right? The day prior. So we can see this general zone right here, right in this area, we can see there were previous lows, demand held. That turned into rejections here on Friday, which then turned into rejections again on Monday. So we broke above that level. We retested that level, right? We created this little flag pattern here, this little downtrending flag pattern, back into the 20 SMA, back into the previous pre-market highs, back into the pre-market highs from Friday, and back into the Thursday lows, right? So people ask me a lot, right? Are you looking at pre-market levels? Absolutely, right? Look how important the pre-market levels from Friday, and look how important the pre-market levels from Monday were for the trade on Tesla today. So I said to the group, which you're about to hear in the watch list, the live watch list, if Tesla can maintain this 20 SMA and this 257, 258 level, let's look to continue long on Tesla and let's hold our swing trade. Tesla didn't quite give you an entry today unless you just went in right at open. But hey, we were in it already. We were in swing trades. If you're part of the Options Insider community, you saw the entry that we took the day prior off of that demand low, which led to this upside, right? So this was a good entry, right? This was a good entry on that retest. But what was the better entry? The better entry using supply and demand, bigger time frame supply and demand. Where was the better entry? It was down here, right? And that's where we entered at the demand lows, looking for that continuation to the upside. So now I want to share with you guys that morning watch list. You'll see how I created it live, talked about that level today, and then after that, I will share the live trade on Tesla. Tesla, watching this little flag that's forming here at this previous high, right? You guys can see right here, previous highs, 257, break, retest, watching that 257 to see if that holds today for a move higher up into 262. If we break under 257, then really not too interested in that long. I'm going to take some profits on Tesla here, just in case I lose on NVIDIA, to make sure that I don't give back, to try to stay green on the day. So taking some profits off Tesla there, guys, on the swing trade. Okay, I like that candle on NVIDIA a lot. So guys, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight, right? It's not the end-all, be-all morning watch list levels video. You know, that's not going to be something I can create here in 20 minutes. Of course, it's going to take curating, getting used to charting these levels. Really, the morning live streams is where we go over all these levels every morning. I think that's the best place to start if you're looking to develop morning watch lists. Come to the morning live stream every single morning at 8 a.m. in the pre-market. We go over our levels. We create a watch list ourselves, right? and then you can use that information to go ahead and create them yourselves. I hope this video provided some value. If it did, please press that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to trade live with me every day, first link down in the description. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.